Bar staff, have you ever had a man use the safe word drink escape, and how often does it happen? I was working as a bouncer at a pub in Cork, Ireland. Not a particularly rowdy place most nights, but I liked the work, the people, and the occasional quiet chaos. I'd been in the role for a couple of years by then. Still young, 22, but it gave me a certain perspective on people. That perspective was tested one Friday night more than any other, in a way that still sticks with me. The pub had a good crowd that evening, a mix of regulars and folks wandering in from the fancy restaurant across the road. Everything seemed normal until a guy approached me near the entrance. He looked out of place, hesitant, almost tense. Mid-conversation with his friends, a little boisterous, he leans in and quietly asks for an angel shot. I'd heard the term a few times online, but never seen it in action. In Ireland, it wasn't exactly a common thing to have a coded drink for "get me out of here." The bar didn't have a system for it. No signs, no code words posted anywhere, but I'd read about it on some Facebook posts, a lifeline for someone in trouble. I nodded and told him I'd take care of it. But there was a problem. His friends were hanging around, joking and making him look ridiculous in front of everyone. I had to stall, so I started questioning his ID like I normally would with anyone who seemed a bit off. He was mid-30s probably, and I was a kid, telling him he couldn't go in yet. His friends laughed at the situation, egging him on, teasing me too. I didn't let it shake me. I motioned for a taxi while keeping an eye on him. He pretended to resist, half joking, but I could tell he wanted out. When the cab arrived, I practically had to carry him to it, making sure his friends didn't interfere. He discreetly slipped $50 into my jacket pocket as a quiet thank you. He got in, and the cab drove off. No drama, at least from the surface. 2 days later, I was working again, and the same group of guys came into the pub, laughing and joking as if nothing had happened. The angel shot guy wasn't with them, and I didn't think much of it at the time. 3 days after that, he showed up early in the evening. He walked straight up to me, no pretense, and started explaining what had happened. Apparently, things at the restaurant that night had gone far worse than anyone expected. Some of his friends were doing coke, all of them from professional backgrounds, and a girl had been assaulted in the bathroom. At first, she had been interested in one of them, but then 2 other guys came in, and she wanted to leave. She couldn't get out, and my guy had tried to intervene, but felt powerless and unsafe. He realized quickly that leaving could put him in danger from the others. That was why he'd needed the angel shot, a way to quietly get out without drawing attention or endangering himself further. He explained the fear he'd felt, stuck in that environment knowing he couldn't trust anyone in the group to respect what had happened. His friends had gone on with their night, and he had used that excuse to leave, slipping into the taxi I'd hailed for him. The reason they were all back 2 days later was for his going-away drinks, which he hadn't attended, understandably. He didn't need to embellish anything. I could see the relief in his eyes, finally telling someone who understood, someone who had helped him without judgment. The guys from that night were eventually charged, though I never saw any public follow-up. It seemed the details were buried after a few weeks. That night changed my perspective on what an angel shot could mean. It wasn't just a drink. It was a silent plea for help, a lifeline in a situation I would never have imagined I'd be a part of. I realized the responsibility I carried wasn't just keeping order or checking IDs. It was noticing when someone needed an out, even if no one else realized. I've worked plenty of nights in bars, seen plenty of drunken arguments and fights, but this was the only time I ever had to use the "get me out of here" shot. It wasn't about stopping a fight or ejecting a drunk patron. It was about keeping someone safe from a situation that could have gone horribly wrong. That guy never said much after that night, just a quiet nod and a thanks whenever he came back into the pub. But I never forgot him, or the night when a single coded drink saved someone from something I'd never wish on anyone. It's the kind of night that makes you remember why being a bouncer isn't just about strength or authority. It's about paying attention, noticing the little signals, and being ready to act when it matters most.